Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pink Table Talk. How are y'all doing today? We hope that you are excited about this new season, season 7. We've got so much in store for you guys on the Pink Table Talk, and I cannot wait. When I tell you all, this show is going to be so good. So call your girlfriends, your homegirls, your aunties, your sisters, everybody, and let them know that we are on today. And we are talking about dating, the reality of it in 2022. So you all know, with our Kevin Samuel stuff and all the men talking, now you get to hear from the girls right here on Pink Table Talk. So let me introduce who we've got on here. Of course, we've got Deidre Stafford, our co-coordinator of the women's ministry at House of Hope. And right here in this beautiful blue, Miss Natalise Washington. She's an expert at dating is what I want to call her. She's good at it. I love hearing about her. And of course, you know her right here on Hope TV, DeShannon Dixon. You all have got to check out her show, Grown and Sexy, with our singles over 40. We've got so much to talk about. I just want to get into it. So y'all good? Y'all ready to get started?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
excited about this. So, okay, we're all single. Some of us have been married before. I think I'm the only person who hadn't been married before, but hey, that's neither here nor there. But let's talk about how dating, the reality of it is in 2022. I know sometimes people come up to me and they're like, you're not married yet. What's going on? What's happening? But I don't think they understand the depth and what it takes to find what you really need and what God has for you in this society right now. So I'll start with Natalise. How has it been going for you in 2022 with this the dating scene? How's it going?
Dating is a journey, not a destination.
Yes.
And so I found that you just really have to exercise some patience and recognize that you need to kiss a lot of frogs before you find the prince, and just be open to looking for your expectations, looking for what you want, looking for good experiences, looking for the things that are important to you, and being okay to move on if you don't find it. So it's really the patience part. I think a lot of women, myself included, we get impatient and we are ready to walk down the aisle and have babies, do whatever, and we start lessening standards, ignoring red flags.
Wow.
And so I think if we start with patience, and what is most important to us, like that is really the game plan for 2022 dating.
Yeah, that's true. What about you, DeShannon? The reality now. I know you're back in this game. But
Okay,
what is
so
the reality?
for people like myself that's single again, that may be a little bit older, you really, I hadn't dated in like 20 years, so I didn't understand the rules. There's new rules to this dating game. These dating streets are not for the faint of heart. And so getting back out there again, if you're not knowing what to expect, man, this game can eat you alive.
Right.
Because it is so different 20 years ago. And so that, I think, has been the most challenging part for me, is understanding the rules have changed now and then catching myself up. But y'all, I know the game now. So let's get right.
Most definitely. Well, Deidre, you can add to it too. You know, what have you noticed?
Well, it's just like DeShannon said. I've been married and I've been with a guy for almost 25, 30 years. So dating is totally different from me dating in the 90s.
Right.
So, and coming from being married, you get into that thing of, I only know one person, so he's not like him, so
Yeah.
it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So now it's just being a little bit more patient and seeing what it is that I really, really want.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I get that completely. It's just so different.
Yeah.
Because I remember even being younger thinking, oh, it's not going to be a big deal to get married. Because everybody I knew, and I think it was like an expectation then too with men, they were looking for wives.
Right.
And
Well,
now
some
I
of
feel like it's kind of like, well, we've been together for a while, so all right, we can go on and do that kind of mentality. So I don't know where we are with that, but we'll see. Well, go ahead, Deidre.
So next question, how has the pandemic affected your dating life?
I'll go. Well, for me, I thought initially when I first started trying to date, we were still not outside. And so you did a lot of Zoom type things, meeting people, FaceTime. You got an Android, I immediately just already, you already
Lord.
just
Look
like,
how they do us.
seriously.
How you do us like that?
But, because I noticed, I was like, wait a minute, Laria texted me back and her color ain't right, but that's all right.
We got the best pictures.
Yeah,
Y'all
you're
want our
right.
pictures.
But I think that whole pandemic is what I'm hearing from men and women is when the game changed.
Right.
That's when the game changed to these sometimes unrealistic ideas and values that people are doing now. Everything's a red flag. It's not really, is it a red flag or just a miscommunication?
Right.
But it's like the first thing go wrong, they're on to the next. So I think the pandemic has lessened our patience. We are less patient because we have been so closed for so long
like that.
until now everything is moving so much quicker.
Yep.
Man, I didn't think
That's-
about it
yeah.
that way. That makes a lot of sense, though. Yeah, for me, yeah, I completely agree. Because now I'm like, okay, well, what you trying to do? What's the point right now?
Right.
What are we doing? But I think I'm like
Yeah.
that with everything now.
Yeah,
because I
everything.
understand, and I think too with death and a lot of people passing away, you're starting to look at your life and say, you know. Should I have you in my life? This is from friendships to
Yeah.
jobs. You know, with people changing jobs now, everything. It's like, you know, okay, fine, that's all right, cool, bye. You
Yeah.
know, I think we're a little more impatient for me. What about you guys?
I think the activity level changed. So I don't think dating in and of itself changed for me. I was still going on dates through the whole pandemic.
Oh, wow.
But there weren't opportunities to meet people out at restaurants or other
That's true.
festivals. The things, the meeting spaces, you know, those were marginalized, so there weren't the options. So now people are turning more to online dating, being introduced by friends. And so then you have the opportunity for the one-on-one date, but just meeting people through the organic, I like to say it's an organic means you just happen to be somewhere and somebody approach you. That wasn't really popping since 2020.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that makes sense. What about you, Dee?
That's true. Well, for me, I had just met someone right before the pandemic started. So I can say the pandemic gave us the opportunity to really get to know each other because you couldn't go out and meet anybody else. So it just left us to where it was just us. So it was kind of different for me.
Yeah.
No regrets.
Yeah, she's good. she got her good guy. But speaking of which, okay, so me and Deidre had this conversation about how I guess I like to date one at a time. And
Yeah.
and so my question is, you know, what is the process for you guys? I know everybody's personality is different, you know. So how do you go about? I know online dating is a big deal. So do
Yeah.
you date one at a time? Do you see a guy and you're like, you know what? We had a great conversation. We went out on a date. It went well. Like at what point do you say, okay, I'm only dating this guy? I'm gonna zoom in on him, or can you date multiple and zoom in on each one? Like, how does that process work for y'all?
Oh, well, when I got divorced, I thought that I was just gonna date, and really just find myself and have a
Hot
good
girl
time.
summer.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
one of those. But then I realized that's not me. Like, I just want one guy and it's just us. So, but I was really looking forward to, to dating a lot of people. Just,
Okay.
You know, but I think I'm just one person.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What y'all got to say?
Well, I may or may not know this story firsthand, so let me put that disclaimer out there. But what I found in doing what you're saying is you can be dating somebody 6 months and they say, oh, I never said we were together. I never said we were exclusive. So while you are giving them all of you, they may or may not be doing that. And so what I learned quickly is to have those types of conversations initially up front because it happened to me. I was like seeing the same person thinking, oh, because see, all I knew was to be a wife, right? Because I've been a wife for so long. Exclusive. That's seeing the same person. And then when something popped off, it was like, oh, we never said we was together.
Right.
oh, we got to say that now. So if you don't say that, you can assume that you're not. And that right there literally just opened up my space, my mind to date them all, sis. Date them all. Go into your DMs and those messages that you trying to wait on because this one might be the one and that one might be the one. Date them all, sis.
Date them all.
Because you don't know unless you start answering some of those DMs. But what I will say this, do not think you're exclusive if you have not had that conversation.
right.
And do not give somebody everything you got if you
right.
guys have not had that conversation. My advice is date them all. Now, that might not be what I'm doing. Let me put that out there again. For some of y'all who know me as Pastor DeShannon, that is, listen.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer, for sure. I'm just saying, if the opportunity presents itself, do not make yourself exclusive
Right.
to somebody who
Right.
has not made themselves exclusive
That's
to
right.
you.
Surviving and thriving in a pandemic in a lot of different areas is such a needed topic that a lot of people aren't discussing, especially in the Black and Brown communities.
Today, we're talking about caregiving and self-care.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Poor Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
I'm sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug. You know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for you. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
Salisbury steak. Everything's cooking up right.
Today, we're gonna be cooking some Salisbury steak. Man, this is gonna be a mouth banger. Thing of beauty right there. It's a vision of love.
I think I even had a conversation with you about this, DeShannon, about how in our minds we may be thinking things are going well. Why would we? We're spending time together. We're doing all this together. We're doing all. In his mind, it's like, you know, you're one in the number.
Yes.
So if you're not on the same page and you haven't had a like a
Conversation
serious
about where
in
we're
depth
at.
of what you want and what he wants, and it's a mutual understanding, you can't say somebody's cheating on you and you never had a conversation.
And that's the thing. Like when you ask a guy if they're single and they respond in the fact that, well, can't nobody claim me as their man.
What?
Then what they're telling you is I'm seeing
seeing
you until I see somebody else that may
Right.
be, and it's the buffet mentality.
Right. Right.
I don't want to be on a buffet.
No, that's right. For real. Well, what say ye, Natalice, about all of this?
I mean, I think to each his own. You have to do what your personality type can support. You got to do what your emotional well-being can support, and to know other people to determine what it is that you like. And so you may not do that fresh out the gate with number one.
Yeah.
But as soon as possible, as soon as you find yourself, your little heart fluttering and pitter-pattering, you need to have a conversation about exclusivity. And you need to define it, because people will run play games. Like, what does that mean to you? Because this is what it means to me.
Right.
And then I think that's healthy. But I do think we have a mentality where we go on a few dates and we get married and growing old together.
Right.
And we need to change that mindset. We
Right.
need to, explore and make sure these guys are solid and
That's
bringing
right.
something to the table and adding value. And I think that's so important. So if you can to establish that and to determine that you want something exclusive, then do so.
Yeah.
Why not?
Most definitely. And I think it's kind of disappointing when you're over 40 and you're thinking, I got to have these look.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we out here doing?
If I gotta
But you
tell
do.
somebody else what I do, I just be like, let me put a resume out here. Because I mean, that first date thing
Yeah.
kills you.
It's just so annoying after a while, to me. But maybe that's just
Yeah.
my personality. But anyway.
This is funny.
So, okay, with jobs and dating and all of those things that are going on, how do you balance it? Because it's like, if you're a working woman and you're working every day,
Yeah.
I'm just exhausted. I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate the time to even, how should I say this? To do well at what you do,
Yeah.
and then to try to, you say you want a man, but you don't have no time to, I'm talking about myself. You don't put nobody in that space to do that. So how do you balance that? I'll start with you, Natalie.
Great, because you make time for what you want.
That's exactly what I was
true.
about to say.
That's true.
You work 40
That
to
is the
60
truth.
hours a week.
That is the truth.
It's 24 hours in a day.
That's
Just
true.
like you expect him to make time for you, you make time for dating and make space
That's
for it. It's
very
about mind, wellness, balance.
That's
balance,
true.
life,
That's
work
true.
balance,
Balance.
work-life balance. I couldn't find that term. Work-life balance. Like I can't work out all the time. I can't work on my job all the time. I can't be at church all the time. There has to be a part of your life for all the things that you enjoy.
That's
and
true.
for me, relationship is a huge part of my life. I enjoy relationship. I enjoy flirting. I enjoy being in a man's company. And so I'm gonna make time. I'm gonna carve out a nice little slot for that. And so you manage your other things. Like, yeah, I'm still probably gonna work 60 hours a week, but I still, even with that,
That's
I
true.
still find the time to be dated and courted and go out to nice restaurants and make plans, and I enjoy that part. So
that's cool.
that is really, it's intentional. It
Yeah.
requires intentionality.
Yes, it does. And I don't think I am intentional about a lot of things.
You're gonna work on that.
Yes, that's what I need to be working on, intentionality. What about you, Shannon?
Well, we all gotta eat.
She said we all gotta eat.
That part.
So, I mean, even if you're busy, and there's probably nobody on the planet that has as many jobs and do as many things as I do, but we always have to eat. So, I mean, so why don't you eat in company, or if you can meet them at lunch.
Yeah,
'cause,
that's true.
We all have to eat. So in my mind, that's one of the first things that I do, because I got to go out to eat anyway. I'm eating anyway.
Right.
I can always fit that into the day of something, or I'm always going to go out to lunch and maybe do a 2-hour lunch anyway. So I'm going to always fit that into the day. So
Yeah, that's good.
that's an easy.
That's
That
true.
is.
Easy
That
fit.
is.
That's true.
We all got to eat.
Yeah, we do. We do. That makes sense.
But I always advise you carry your own money with you now.
Now you better. You better, because you don't know what
And
you're
what's our
rolling
own
up
money
on.
for? Why are we bringing our own money?
Because I don't know what this guy is gonna do, and if you start telling me what I can't, you know,
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is. Everybody wasn't raised the same.
that's true.
And there's a lot of people that pretend well.
But then when the
And-
rubber hits the
Well,
road,
I mean, and then a lot of times people think if I pay for something, then I expect something.
Right.
Whether you do or not, and whether I'm going to do whatever you expect or not, I have my own money. I have my own chairs and table settings.
Right.
And so those kinds of things, when you don't know a person, you don't know what to expect. There's all kinds of things on social media where people are being left at restaurants because they're not wanting to go back home with people, and they don't have the resources with them.
Lord have
so
mercy.
these dating streets, I mean, if you're lucky enough not to have those experiences, congratulations. But there's a lot of people that are either being left at restaurants, left at wherever because they don't want it, because the men are thinking with this high value mentality that if I pay for something, it's an exchange.
This is not a business transaction.
Wow.
I just can't get with it. I'm still trying to understand. I'm like my daddy now. Who raised these people? You know, it's like, where did this come from? Where it's very disheartening in a way.
It is.
Because I really feel for our younger women. If we're going through this 35 and up, like what will it be like for your daughters in their teens? And you know, that's rough. What about you, DJ? Anything you want to add to that?
Oh, I just messed them up right there. Like,
Wow, thank God that has never happened.
I can.
It
It's really sad.
I mean, and then to think that, oh no, it will never happen to me. Keep living.
Yeah.
I mean, because you never know what a person's mindset
That's true.
is.
That's true.
And so just always have your own.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
We're talking about healthy aging and healthy living.
I'm so passionate about feeding your skin the truth. And the truth is with fruits, vegetables, and all type of herbs. And that's really my motto, is feed your skin the truth.
There's a decline in blood donation. About why should we give blood?
When you donate, you save 3 lives. So I think this is a great thing. Like your platelets, your whole blood, and your plasma is split up. So it's not going directly to one patient, but it's actually being split up and it's going to 3 different patients.
So with all of this being said, how do you incorporate your faith within your dating life? And I know I hear women, and I don't want to call it hot in the church, but it's almost kind of like you should come to church and you're going to meet your husband here. And we all know that.
Yeah, that's because they in the building do not mean that they know
Right,
Jesus.
exactly. So it's like, where does your faith play into your dating life? And when do you start asking questions about, you know, are you all on the same page as far as your beliefs in God and what you think? Because I've even there was this one guy that tried to talk to me along, and the church that he came, I was like, I can't do that.
Was the church dry?
No, this was back when I was in college. He was like Church of Christ.
Oh, yeah.
No music, none of, you know, and they were and I said, oh, no,
Yeah, I can't
we
go
can't
there.
talk. And he was very into, you know, and he loved, but I'm not doing that, you know? So I knew that and it was like, no, that ain't gonna work. And that was back when I was in my 20s, so now I really know. So how does that play with you guys? Is it just, you need to know Jesus? And if you don't go to church, okay, is it you need to be active? Like, how do you, what is your expectation in that area is what I'm asking.
I mean, faith is very important. Of course, that needs to be a conversation. But just like you just said earlier, it's like, what is your Sunday like? If they never mention God, you know, faith, anything, you kind of know what you got on your plate. But if they don't go, then it's a question of why don't you go? Or why, because something may have happened. You know, a lot of people have church hurt, you know, but then if this is a person you want to be with, you got to try to help them come back to that. But I think it's just all in conversation. Like with the guy that I'm dating, he said that he watched me and he liked the fact that I was involved in church. So that was a plus for me to know that he even liked that. So I think it's all in conversation, but really just listening to their conversation and what they do and what they
what they do.
Yeah,
I think
what
that's
they
the
do.
biggest thing because I have met
What
guys,
they do.
you'll meet somebody and they'll tell you like, I go to household, and you're like, what service do you go to? Where do you sit? You can't tell me none of the above, but you go here, right?
Yeah.
It's
You've
about
been
what
there.
you do. And I think sometimes we have to watch people's habits.
Yeah.
What they're actually
they
doing,
do.
not what you're saying, but what you do.
Absolutely.
Did you want to say anything, Annalise, about
I was
that?
just saying, I'm not going to evangelize somebody. I'm looking for somebody that's already established. And so I try to find that out really early on. I tend to seek out highly educated men, and I've found myself on dates with a couple of times now.
Yeah.
And I realize, oh, I need to start talking about this much sooner, introductory, first text, first chat, whatever, so that I can find out, because I know that's an automatic deal breaker. You don't know God, you don't love God, you don't believe in God, like with the atheist examples. Those guys aren't going to work for me. So just talking about that. But, you know, my role in dating you is not to evangelize you, bring you to Christ, introduce you to the Father. Like, I want you to already know him. So that would be, you know, my perspective on that in particular.
Totally the opposite for me. I do not tell people I'm a minister at all.
I probably wouldn't if I was.
Because then it changes the whole conversation.
Everything.
Then all of a sudden we, you know, no, I don't tell them that at all. I actually prefer people not to Google me, because if they do, then it changes the whole date. It changes the whole time. Because I grew up in church from 0 on, that's not my, it's like, because I know people that grew up in church that don't go to church now because of what the church religion has done, not their spirituality. So that's not my, I don't really mind so much the evangelism side, because I'm more spiritual than traditional, than religious. And so I do not tell them at all that I am a minister. They find that out later. Or somebody say, I saw you, and I just be like, oh, Lord, you know. Or I Googled you, and I saw this sermon. I just be like, I already know, because the perception of me just changed just like that. Then I can't be DeShannon.
Right.
Now I'm Pastor DeShannon, Minister DeShannon. Or they Googled me and saw me somewhere. Now I'm the CEO DeShannon. I can't be the in between me. So I very little, because I want somebody to actually get to know me, not the front of me or the behind me.
Right.
And that's tough for me.
Yeah. I can only imagine, because I think about that all the time.
I get that, but I want them to see me as the churchy girl, because people respect me different. They talk to me different. So, but I'm not, you know, in the minute. So I don't think they have that perception that you would have. But like, I want you to know, like, oh, I go to church on Sundays, every Sunday.
Yeah.
Go ahead and think I go every Sunday.
Right.
So you can know what my plan is before brunch. You know, I'm gonna be at the church.
Right.
So I want you to know I'm churchy. I want you to watch your mouth. Like, I don't want to hear you talking crazy. Like, so to me, it's a benefit for them to know who I am and how I run in these streets, because I move different than other women.
Yeah.
And so if they me better, then it's a plus for me.
But I would think a guy, if he would meet you, I would meet you and say, oh yeah, DeShannon's cool or whatever. It would be like, what? I didn't know. You know, she is really cool. And if you meet her, she never says, I'm Pastor, she just says, hi, I'm DeShannon. You would never know that until.
I actually hate the titles. I'm just DeShannon because of that reason.
Right.
I don't want anybody, because if y'all see around, mind your business. See, this is why I don't want the titles.
Right.
Because you can't move normally.
Right.
The expectation is, oh my God, I've got on, a dolly on my head, and why is she, you know what I'm saying, no makeup. It's like she praying every 5 seconds. That's unrealistic. But because we have put people with titles in front of our names on a pedestal, people will not get to know me. They only see that me. Or the other side of it is, oh, I saw you do this. Like, they don't, and they don't get to know me. And I'm nothing like that. I'm literally a simple country girl from Alabama.
Yeah, most definitely.
At the end of that, I do a lot of things, but at the core of me, I'm a simple country girl from Alabama, and that's the part that people have trouble, because they really want the me that they see.
Right.
On TV, on whatever, and that stuff.
Yeah, and that can be, I think, with both of you all talking, because I've, this guy, he was like, what's your social media? That's the new thing now.
Oh, yeah.
What's your IG, what's your Facebook or whatever? And then I never see them again, because they'll go and they'll see, because I share
Your
House of Hope.
content.
Yeah, my content is always something inspirational, and I'm not no dud where I'm just not, but I'm just not.
You're not.
No. But I'm just not, I don't post everything. everything I'm doing because I feel like, some stuff I just want to keep to myself.
Right.
But, it does have a lot of stuff about church and God and all those things. So, most of the time I don't hear back from those
and
guys.
that's just you
anymore.
dodged the bullet.
Exactly. And that's my
Get it that way.
thing. If you
Exactly.
can't receive me for who I am, how I roll, then, it's okay.
That's so good.
That is tough.
I've been exploring really maximizing your authentic self.
Yes.
Stepping into the light as authentic as you can be, not
That's most
sugarcoating who you are, not hiding who you are, not changing to be more accepted. And I mean, that's so freeing. When you
It
do that,
is.
and that takes a level of maturity.
Yeah. And then when you get into these relationships, you don't have to try to keep this odd going like,
absolutely.
I'm churchy, but I'm cool. It's like, no, I love God. I love going. I really do love the church. I do. I can go to church all the time.
But you're more than that as well.
Exactly.
Right?
So,
and that's what my problem is. It's like you have to separate the brand me because I am a whole brand. And have been even before I got to Georgia, and from who I am. Like I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. I've got a 3-year-old grandson. You know what I'm saying? I can cook. You know what I'm saying? People are like, you can cook? Yes.
She's from Alabama. I'm
Literally.
expecting you to be able to cook.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
And so
Stereotype.
that's my issue a lot of times is separating the brand of me and what I do. Because I'm not preaching every day, y'all.
Of course.
I'm inspiring people every day, but just at the core of me. And I want somebody to want to get to know me.
That's right. Well, this is good. Look, y'all, hold on. We'll be back next week with our part 2. We've got some more. We got to keep digging in this because we got some more. We just touched the surface. So make sure that you continue watching us. Please, I didn't say this too. Put your comments in the chat as well and let us know what you're thinking about what we're saying. I should have been saying that all along, but I didn't. So please make sure that you do that. But we enjoyed you. Thank you so much for tuning in. DeShannon Dixon, Nataleese Washington, Deidre Stafford. We love you. We can't wait to see you for our part 2.
Bye.